Okay, Math 90, here is number 5, and we're looking for the perimeter of a rectangle. No, they're giving us the perimeter of a rectangle is 36 feet. So I underline perimeter of a rectangle because that's what formula we need. And if the length is 4 feet and the perimeter is 36 feet, we're looking for the height. Another name for the height is the width. So if you look at my picture, I don't want you to get confused because the formula is written with a W and the problem is written with an H. So width or height, how tall it is, we can use a W or an H. So it doesn't matter. So the formula that I found that talks about the perimeter of a rectangle was formula number 4. And I wrote down P equals 2L plus 2W. And again, 2W, if you want to use 2H, they're the same. And I just wrote down what I knew, that the perimeter was 36 feet and the length is 4 feet. And I'm looking for the height, right? Yeah. Height or width, we don't know. But here's the formula. Okay. So for part B, I just made the height a W instead of an H. Here's my formula from my formula sheet. I need to solve for W, so I need W on one side and everything else on the other. So we're really adding 2L to each side, so I want to do the opposite of that, and I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides, subtracting here and here. The 2L's cancel out here. I cannot combine P with minus 2L because they're different, so they are not like terms. So I just have P minus 2L on this side, and I have 2W left on this side. And now I need to get W alone. I'm multiplying by 2, so the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I know this looks weird. These 2's cancel. But I've got W left. So W equals P minus 2L divided all over, divided by 2. So that is the answer for part B, even though it looks kind of weird. So now I know my P and my L, and I'm going to plug them in here and here. So P is 36. I'm looking for W, or my height. 36 minus 2 times L. L I know is 4. And I just bring this 2 down. So on the top I've got 36 minus 2 times 4. Well, according to PEMDAS, I've got to do the times first, or the multiplication first. So 2 times 4 is 8. 36 minus 8 on top divided by 2. If you want to use your calculator, you can to help you. 36 minus 8 is 28, and 28 divided by 2 is 14. So I know that my width or my height is 14. And this is the answer for find W or H. So those questions 1 through 5 are about picking the formula, solving for a variable that's in that formula, and then finding it. The last couple problems are where they're going to give us an equation and they want us to solve for a particular variable. Like here they're giving us negative 8x plus 3y equals 12. And they want us to solve for y, which means they want y on one side and everything else on the other. So we're solving for y. It'll be y equals something. So, where do we want to start? Well, getting added to this 3y is a negative 8x. Can I get rid of a minus or a negative 8x? What's the opposite? What do I do to both sides? Or maybe I should write this out bigger first. Let me do that. And I want to solve for y. So the opposite of subtracting 8x or negative 8x is positive 8x. So I'm adding 8x to both sides of the equal sign. And I believe we've done this before. So negative 8x and positive 8x, these drop out. And I'm left with 3y equals 12 plus 8x. Can I put or combine numbers with 8x's? I cannot. Let's start up here. Okay. So my y is almost by himself, but he's got a 3 with him. There's a 3 being multiplied by that y. So what's the opposite of 3 times y? Well, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Now I'm going to divide 3 into 12 and 3 into 8x. So don't forget to do the division twice. So these 3 divided by 3 is 1, or just y. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then 8 divided by 3, I'm really not going to get a nice whole number for that. So I'm going to leave it as a fraction. So y equals 4 plus 8/3 x. How's that? So y is on one side, everything else is on the other. You could have also written this as y equals 8/3 x plus 4. If you want to write it like that, those are both correct. Okay, last problem. Maybe it'll get better with number 7, hopefully. So number 7 says A equals 1/2 B times H, and I want to solve for B. I'm just leaving a little space here because I know what's coming up. So I want to solve for B, but B is being multiplied by 1/2 and by an H. So we have to kind of undo all that and get B alone. So how do I get rid of the 1/2? If you had Math 85, if you had a fraction, and I even think we talked about this when we were solving in chapter 2, what can I do to get rid of that 1/2 when I see that fraction there? Does reciprocal ring a bell? I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 1/2, and remember the reciprocal, we just take the fraction and flip it around. So I'm going to take both sides times the reciprocal, multiply both sides by 2/1, which is the reciprocal of 1/2. I'm going to put a 1 under the A to make it easier to multiply. Okay, so what happens here and here with my 2's and my 1's? What happens? They cancel out, right? Or divide out. So these are gone. And if I'm multiplying straight across, I get 2a over 1 equals BH. Are we good with that? These canceled out and I multiplied those two fractions straight across. Now what's another name for 2a over 1? In math, what can we call that? What if we had 2 over 1 or 5 over 1? It would just be 5. So 2a over 1 is just 2a. So 2a equals BH. I'm solving for b. Is b alone yet? No, I still have an h there. He's being multiplied by the h. So how do I get rid of that h? How do I undo that multiplication? What's the opposite of multiplication? I'm going to divide both sides by h. My h's cancel. B is left alone, so B is 2a divided by h. And I know that looks weird, but that is the correct answer. That's solving for b. B is on one side. B equals 2a over h divided by h. Try your Hawks homework. That's the end of the videos for section 3.1. Next videos, we're skipping 3.2. Will be for section 3.3, which are a little bit harder word problems. And I also have a handout in D2L for 3.3. So I'll see you in the next video.